State Beaver campus. Beaver is coached by Coach Jim Van Kirk, and of course Central Penn is coached by our coach Dustin Wise. Central Penn is coming off a huge 4-2 win against Williamson Trade, a very tough Philadelphia team that they've only ever beaten once in the history of their program. And Penn State's coming in 0-3. They have not won a game yet, but they've played tough competition, so it's very fair to assume that this will be a very tough match. And as the teams come up to midfield, we look forward to a really good 90 minutes of soccer. I'm joined today by Zach Morrill, a star soccer player for Central Penn who is out for the year with an ACL injury. Zach, welcome to the pitch. What are you expecting today?
Thanks for having me. I'm expecting a real close game. I think both sides are looking to get the first goal, kind of come out of the gate strong.
Well, here we are, and Penn State is off to the races. Just a few seconds into the match, Penn State has intercepted a pass at midfield and brought it down into the Knights' end, and they have possession right around the 18. They've now driven into the area, and the ball is cleared out by Todd Berry. Todd Berry, a third-year player from local Cedar Cliff High School. Very strong central defender. Zach, you played with Todd for 2 years. How would you describe his style of play?
I would describe Todd as a fast, strong player. He never gives up, and he doesn't give up the ball. I know that.
Well, Central Penn's having a rough time right now getting the ball out of their own end. John Felisa is able to bring it out to the flank, but every time Central Penn attempts to clear, Penn State's able to bring the ball back into their end of the field, and they're pretty much camping inside their 18 right now. So the ball's off the end for a corner kick, first corner of the match for Penn State. The ball was cleared out by Trenton Bradley, the other center back for the Knights, another very tough player. I'll tell you, if Penn State wants to have luck today, they're going to do exactly what they've been doing. That's going down the flank, because the center of the field's pretty clogged up with Berry and young Trenton Bradley there in the middle. So there's the corner, and it's off Bradley's head. Penn State has it out wide right. Able to drive in, plays a low ball through the area. Oh, major scoring opportunities for Penn State, just missed by two different players actually. Looked like number 12, Garcia, had a real shot at that header. And then it actually went zinging by two other players on the back post, but no convert for Penn State, so it's a goal kick for Max Thorpe and the Central Penn Knights. And Penn State again with the ball coming into the Knights' end. They are inside the 18. There's a shot and a goal for Penn State. It's 1-0 Penn State Beaver. You can hear that that's okay. The veterans or the visitors have their fan base right behind us with their bell today, and that's okay because soccer's supposed to be celebrated, so it's all go. So Central Penn early 1-0 deficit. Zach, what do you think's going wrong so far? It just seems like we're not able to. Central Penn's not able to gain possession of the ball and move it over midfield.
I think they're lacking organization. Nobody's really talking, and yeah, they just really don't know what to do at the moment. Let's see if they can figure it out and go forward with some pace and urgency. Here we go.
And Central Penn is in already to the area, and there's a finish wide and a goal. There's a goal for Central Penn. Caleb Solis. Who had the assist on that, Zach?
That was Sufjan, number 10. He's actually a freshman this year, and in the first game against Williamson Trade, he actually ended up scoring 2 goals and had 1 assist.
Terrific. Yeah, he came down the right flank moving and put a beautiful ball on Caleb's right foot, and Caleb finished it quickly and a one-time goal, and it's 1-1, and we're knotted up early in the match. This should be interesting at this rate. This is not going to be a boring game. So Central Penn is able to score off of longer balls down the flank, and Penn State seems to be content with a straight possession game, just a lot of control of the ball. It seems like that's how the two squads are set to play today. So Derek Miller, left back for Central Penn, drops the ball back, and it's flicked up the right-hand side. Zach, talk to us a little bit about the two players that were not out here the earlier games this season, number 21 and number 10. What can you tell us about them?
Well, first off, number 10, he comes from Central Dauphin East High School, a little bit about 20 minutes from campus. Actually, he's a star player there, and he's really came in and made an impact right away. And number 21, Derek Pine, he came from James Buchanan with Trenton Bradley, and he was kind of the assist guy there, and he's constantly trying to make an impact on the game and in practice and all that.
But the two of them really add a speed dimension for Central Penn as well. Tremendous foot speed.
Absolutely, they really bring another level to the kind of to the offense, and they're really fast, and it gives the chance of Jordan Heil, the target forward, to kind of hold the ball up and have them run through.
Penn State drops the ball back to their goalkeeper, which is, again, a trademark of a possession game. This kick out is intercepted by Central Penn. Here comes Sophie to goal. That's an illegal throw that was allowed by the referee. In soccer, a throw-in, the two arms have to be equally maintained in terms of their position and their throwing motion, and that wasn't even close, but they were allowed to get away with it. So still Penn State's ball as they possess it on the left-hand side. Penn State throw-in on the left sideline. The captain, number 2, Darion Gilmore, is the one handling the ball to the right hand, on the left-hand side. Quite a strong possession player, thick body, really able to possess the ball. And now again, it's number 6 into the area for Penn State. Number 6 is Romaine Thompson, a Philadelphia player out of Penwood High School. Now here comes Sophie down the right flank again for Central Penn. I'll tell you what, there's no answer for his speed and his skills. And there's a second goal for Central Penn. Sophie with a beautiful left-footed shot, a good 25 meters from the right flank. Beautiful shot, beautiful goal for Central Penn. And I believe the Knights are starting to turn it on. Zach?
Yeah, he just kind of took it himself and kind of put that goal away. And I don't think anybody on Penn State Beaver really expected him to rip a shot from left-footed from that kind of distance.
Yeah, that's the mark of a true player that has 2 excellent feet and can play equally well with each foot. That is a rare bird on a soccer pitch, and a very, very valuable player. Can play on the right side and take a shot like that with his left foot. Tremendous weapon for Coach Dustin Wise. He must have thought he died and went to heaven when these two guys showed up and were ready to go out on the pitch for him. And what a change in dimension for the team. Not only do they bring all the speed and skill and impact that they bring offensively, but they give him a sense of depth on the team. You know, this game he has 3 players sitting on his bench with jerseys on, ready to keep fresh legs on the field when they're needed or recover from an injury. And he hasn't had that in these previous matches because of injuries and other issues with getting kids eligible and things like that. They've had to wait, and consequently there's just been a lack of bodies, and that makes it real tough when there's injuries. So Penn State coming down the left-hand side. Number 12, Garcia, is handling most of the possession there, and of course Saldivar. Thorpe was able to recover that loose ball right on the end line, and he'll take his time and bring that out and let the Knights recover to midfield and get organized to attack the Beaver goal again with a 2-1 lead. Long punt by Thorpe, headed back to the Penn State goalie, who distributes wide left, and here comes Penn State the other way. That was an interesting situation, Zach. Long ball played by Penn State into the Central Penn end to number 12, Garcia. And he was going down the field with at least a step or 2 lead. And Trenton Bradley just went by him like he was standing still, recovered, and possessed the ball and brought it back out, especially after a foul. Now there's a free kick for Central Penn. And here come the Knights. Penn State intercepts the free kick. And Derek Miller from Middletown brings it out. Attempts to play to the target forward, Heil. little long with that ball, and the keeper recovers it for Penn State, and here they come the other way. Nice win for Tucker Bolton in the midfield. Wow. I guess anything goes. There was two pretty strong fouls in the midfield, and the ref didn't call either one of them, and that's all you look for is consistency. You're not going to complain about the refereeing if it's consistent. He's not going to call one and not call the other. I'll live with that. But, oh, there's a misplayed ball and a wide open shot for Penn State inside the 18, but we recover and block. Oh, there's an advantage call, so that's a little complicated for some soccer fans. I think most people watching this match will understand what that means, but there was a foul, and the referee calls advantage, allows the play to go on, and if the foul doesn't develop into a true advantage for the possession team, then he can blow the whistle and bring the ball back to the foul. Now, they'll only wait a few seconds to do that, but it's still it's an important part of soccer to understand. So here's a free kick at about, I would say about 27 meters for the Penn State Beaver campus, and it's easily handled by Thorpe. Soft high ball played into the area. Thorpe taking his time, letting the Knights get organized. So long ball by Thorpe. Well, that's the offsides. Yeah, that's an offside call, unfortunately. Central Penn Knights there were in the middle of defending against Penn State, and all of a sudden the ball came to an onside position right to Sophie's foot, and the assistant referee was all over it. So that's a Penn State free kick coming out of their end, and they'll possess it on the ground as they usually do. Fun team to watch. Really nice possession skills. And here comes Penn State down the left side. Number 17, Valiga, is off and running. John Philippe is in pursuit, and he takes the ball off of his foot, possesses it, and brings it back out. Penn State intercepts and goes back into the Central Penn end. That's a goal kick, I guess, for Central Penn. All right, so Central Penn ball coming out. Zach, you're feeling so far on the possession in this game?
I think Penn State Beaver has had more possession, but they just can't get that final ball through to get a chance on goal. And they were able to do it once from an error, but they haven't really been able to build the whole way up the field. And Central Penn hasn't really possessed all that much, but they've been just capitalizing on through balls, and that's kind of their game because they have two fast forwards.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, they have taken advantage of their opportunities. And Penn State has had the better play, you're right. But you know what? You're right about something else, too, and that is that when you do possess a ball, and the danger of a possession game is that you have to possess it the whole way down to that goal, and that's a lot of passing, a lot of ball movement. And if there's one weakness, one bad pass, one bad gather in that entire sequence, then the other team's going the other way, and that can be dangerous as well. So we'll see how it works out here. I think it's going to be an interesting match. So here's Solis, Caleb Solis over on the Central Penn's left side. He loses the ball, dribbling, and but Penn State kicks it out of bounds, and it's a throw-in for Central Penn. Derek Miller, local young man. It's a long throw down the sideline. He's got a real good throw, probably the best of the team from what I've seen so far. And here come the Lions, Beaver campus. Todd Berry in an all-out sprint with Salvador down the right-hand side. Crossing ball from Penn State, number 17. He tries to one-time it, and that does not work. Just a lot of great defense. I'll tell you, when you talk about Bolton and Todd Berry and Trenton Bradley in the center of that field, it is just about impossible to go down the center. You would think teams would figure that out pretty early and start attacking the flanks, which Penn State has done to a decent degree. There's Solis in the midfield, gets rid of the ball quickly, and we have Sophie off and running again on the right-hand side, and he's trying to get into space against the defender. And now Penn State has balls behind him. There's Howell with a nice shot to the right side, just misses the upper right corner. Zach, tell us a little bit about Jordan Howell.
Jordan Heil, he's your pretty much traditional target forward. He's going to be the one to hold the ball up. He's not going to be the one to make through balls. That's just not really his style of play. He's going to hold the ball up and have people to the right and left of him make through balls in, so he can kind of flick it forward past the back line.
Yeah, he looks like a real solid target player, and he had a real nice go at it there. He didn't miss by much. Just went after the right-hand boot and didn't quite put it in there. So we got a little bit of tennis going on here with both teams kicking the ball back and forth up and down the field. All right, so here comes Central Penn and Caleb Solis down the right-hand side. There's a deep ball played into Sophie, but it is not connected. And here comes Penn State out of the other end. There's a through ball. Number 12, Garcia, is wide open. And of course what happens, Todd Berry again recovers and works that attack. And that looks like a sure thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Todd kind of just put in a last-ditch effort and kind of threw his legs out there, and he was lucky enough to stop it.
I think if I were Mr. Garcia, I'd be upset with myself for not getting that shot off when he can.
Absolutely, that could have been prevented 100%. He took one too many touches.
Well, it's 2-1 to Central Penn, and Central Penn is now bringing two sets of fresh legs off the bench. Ted Kreitz is coming in. Ted's from just down south of the Harrisburg area. Teddy's from East Berlin, PA, and Bermudian Springs High School. Interesting, they're rivals of the James Buchanan High School that produced two other Central Penn Knight players. So Ted comes off the bench. He's a midfielder, a sophomore. And I also saw the young man from Lower Dolphin High School in Hummelstown, Pennsylvania, Devin Price. Price and Price coming off the bench for the Knights. We have a penalty kick called on the Central Penn Knights. I believe it was called on Kreitz. Penn State Beaver broke into the area, and I couldn't tell exactly what he did, whether he grabbed or what happened, but he definitely committed a foul, and now Penn State has a penalty kick in the area. So here's number 6, and he places that beautifully with his left foot. So I'm not exactly sure who that young man is, but he has a beautiful left foot, and he put that shot neatly in the left-hand corner, and now it's a 2-2 match. We're all knotted up at Adams Ritchie Park. 76 degrees, beautiful day, nice breeze. We couldn't have better weather for soccer, and it's a 2-2 match. That's what we expected, a real tight, close match with two very, very good teams. And we'll see how this pans out. So Central Penn dumps the ball down on the right-hand side. It's off the pitch, so it's Penn State throw coming out of their end. And they're 2-2. Penn State switches sides of the field. Beautiful collection on the far side. That was number 17 in the league. A real nice collection. Tough ball. And here comes Penn State again, attempting another through ball in the area. They're a very patient soccer team. They really play the game beautifully. I think it's a reflection of the fact that they have a lot of players of Hispanic heritage, and that's the style of play that's played in that world, and they're very good at it. And it's an absolute joy to watch, to be honest. I mean, it's the kind of soccer I enjoy, Zach.
Yeah, absolutely. I love when team can possess and kind of work their way up the field.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. Give their coaches a lot of credit for it. Oh, and there's a beautiful ball through the area to Price, and he just missed a shot at a goal there. He slid for it, the defender slid for it. I don't think either one of them touched it. The ball ended up going through the area cleanly. So Penn State again possessing the ball down the left-hand flank. Great move by number 12. Popped the ball towards the far post, just lobbed a little shot. What do you call that, Zach? Is that a touch shot? I mean,
he just tried to kind of flick it up over the keeper. And Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's a pretty bold move.
He had him. If it would have gone in, it would have been a sweet goal. No doubt about that. Penn brings the goal kick out right into the middle. They're able to possess it. Ball out wide left to Derek Miller. Always know him by bright green shoes. Another penetrating ball for Central Penn, taken by the Penn State keeper. So Penn State's starting to build up play out of their back end. Little trip in the midfield, that happens. That's Tucker Bolton with the foul. Penn State will bring it out of the back. Number 4, R.J. Long, big, solid player coming out of the central defense. Tees it up for Penn State Beaver campus. And Penn State possesses. So Penn gets a shot and another long ball. They play it deep, and there he goes. That's a goal for Penn's first. Oh my! Central Penn just missed a goal. I mean, just missed a goal. Zach, you want to describe how you saw that one?
Yeah, I thought he was in on goal. He might have taken too heavy of a touch and kind of pushed him out of his way. So, yeah, he'll get another shot.
Yeah, agreed. I thought that was in.
Absolutely.
This is not going to be a boring match, that's for sure. So Kyle Vargas gets fouled back in the deep back left for Central Penn. What's impressive about that isn't that he got fouled, but that he was back there covering for Derek Miller, who had gone down pitch. And it was really important that somebody was there to cover the situation. And Vargas did his job dropping back from the midfield to be in place and prevent anything dangerous from happening on the counterattack from Penn State Beaver. So Penn State Beaver campus coming out of the back again. And Penn State building up out of the back. Derek Miller forwards that attack, plays the ball out to the right flank where Devin Price takes over. He's looking for options. He gives it to Caleb Solis. Caleb takes a lot of touches. So Zach, talk a little bit about that situation. So there you had a situation where you had number 11 Solis taking about 8 touches, and when he did so, it seemed like the runs went to sleep, and we lost. He didn't have anybody to pass to, but he was able to get the ball away.
Yeah, that's usually what happens when someone wants to dribble as much as that. The runs kind of stop, and people start to ball watch, and that's the one kind of bad thing when someone does dribble. I mean, in times there is time and place for it, but in that situation, maybe not so much.
Understood. Yeah, it's an important part of the game. There's times to dribble and times to pass, and that's the time when maybe an earlier pass would have helped Central Penn. So Central Penn dumps the ball, dumps it back. The Knights get the other way, and that's an offside call against the Beaver campus of Penn State. So Central Penn will take a free kick coming out of the back. That'll be indirect on the offsides call. We're really honored to be joined in the booth today also by Taylor Martin. Taylor Martin's a past star player for the Central Penn Knights. He scored maybe the most important goal in the history of this program down at Williamson Trade down in Philadelphia a couple years ago. In sudden death, Taylor scored a goal with his left foot that won a game against a team that Central Penn had never beaten before, and it was a big part of turning this program from a developing program into a winning program. So it's Taylor, honored to have you here today. Taylor was a PTA student at Central Penn. That's physical therapy assistant, one of our top programs. And, that's his profession. Now that's going to be a foul. Yep, that's a foul. That's Tucker Bolton with a foul deep in his own left corner. So Penn State will have a dangerous free kick here. It more or less amounts to a corner, just a little further off the end line. And Penn State will get their players to the middle of the field and treat it almost like a corner. It's a free kick from out wide right. And Central Penn will man up and prepare to defend this dangerous free kick. Let's see how this develops. Looks like man marking to me, Zach.
Looks like another PK.
Really? Okay. That's a push on number 21, Derek Pine, and unfortunately that results in another penalty kick for Penn State Beaver campus. So we're 2-2 knotted right now. We'll see what happens after this free kick. And again, we have number 6 taking it. Oh, what a great save. Terrific save by Max Thorpe. And the game remains knotted. So we have a referee's kind of a timeout here. We're sorting out the situation between the AR and the center ref. There's no goal on that play, so that's an offside call, it looks like. So Central Penn coming out having escaped peril maybe twice in that situation. It looked like that was going to be trouble and a 3-2 deficit, and instead we're still knotted in 2. Zach, what do you think really happened there?
I think first off with the PK, Max just guessed the right way, and he was able to put his body on it, and then kind of back post kind of header that he kind of redirected back where it came from, and luckily it was offside. Central Penn definitely dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, terrific save by Thorpe. Really, really nice save. Those penalty kicks, you're on an island. I mean, you are all alone in that goal with a guy just 11 meters away, just blasting that ball in there as hard as they can, and nobody to help you. And Thorpe did a great job of saving a goal there. So while they're banging the ball around here in the midfield, let me just recap what's happened to Penn State Beaver so far this season. Their first game was a loss 3-2 to Berkeley of New Jersey, which is one of the top programs in this division of soccer in college. They're a real top flight program, so a 3-2 loss to them is no embarrassment. And then they lost to Johnson and Wales 3-1, and that was a home game. They lost that one 3-1, and again, Johnson and Wales is, well, I'll just say this, 2 years ago they played in the national championship game, so they're a very, very, very strong program. To lose to them 3-1 is no embarrassment either, as you can see by the quality of this team out here today. And then their third match, it's looking to me like they played somebody, I believe it was a Division II team, somebody way out of their league, and they lost 11-0, but that's one of those games where, yeah, you know you weren't playing at your own level and your own caliber. So my guess would be they were playing a Division II, Division III team, not somebody on 5 school. This is a small college league around the country. So while the ball moves around, a few more details on the Penn State Beaver team. Interesting how their season's going so far. You cannot have a win and be a really good team this early in the season, and that is their case. That is the case for them. But they've only averaged one goal per game, but they have averaged 10 shots a game. So they're getting their chances, and I think we'll see a solid performance from them. And this will be a tough out for the Central Penn Knights the rest of the way. I'm sure Dustin Wise will be preparing to make adjustments at halftime with his squad and get them ready for the second half, especially coming off that great save by Max. So here's Penn State, right to left, and the Adam Christian pitch here coming in towards the Central Penn goal. The ball's cleared out of the back by Ted Kreitz. Caleb Solis controls in the midfield, gets it back from Bolton. Some real nice passing down the center of the field by Central Penn. That's some of the best ball movement of the entire match so far. Through ball is cleared by Penn State's goalkeeper, who's played a really nice, solid game so far, possibly short of that one long shot. from wide left. Sophie out there taking a shot. Really tough angle to put the ball in the net from there. And Penn State comes out with a save. All right, here's a free kick out of the back for Penn State Beaver. Ted Price playing in the back today. This game seems to be a back. Heads the ball up into the midfield. I've never seen Ted play defense before. Have you, Zach?
In high school, when I got to see him play in high school, he played as an outside back. But yeah, we'll see how this goes for him. It took a little time for him to get back in the back line, but he's a soccer player. He'll figure it out.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a new role for him, but it could be a good thing. I'm sure it's what Dustin Wise needs. If he's back there, it's because that's what his coach needs him to do. And he's in the center. It appears he's giving Todd Berry a break. So maybe something happened with Todd. Todd might be nicked up a little bit and need to take care of something. All right. Oh boy, Penn State has had Max Thorpe out of his goal and missed an empty net. They're going to regret that one. I think they'll be thinking about that one for a while.
Yeah, that's going to give them nightmares
at
at
night.
night.
You're gritting your teeth there. How's it feel for a forward when you see an empty net and miss it?
It's you don't get those very often. I know that.
It's not the greatest feeling, is it?
No. Another bullet dodged by Central Penn.
Wise must be living right. Everything's going his way today for Central Penn, and that's a good thing. So here comes the Knights out of the back. Ball played down the right-hand side to Christ. He's hustling to the ball. Kyle Vargas in chase. And Solis is able to intercept the pass in the midfield. So Solis loses the ball, and here comes Penn State the other direction again with an outstanding opportunity. Ball played across low from the right flank, but unfortunately for Penn State Beaver, they were offside. So Central Penn coming out indirect. And Max Thorpe will take that kick. It's amazing to me how quickly, in just 2 and a fraction games, that Max Thorpe's turned into a really excellent goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's definitely been working hard in practice at it. I mean, he's kind of getting more of a technique down, and he looks more and more like the goalie every time he gets into that position. He can really punt the ball far. That's definitely a plus that Central Penn's not always had in the past.
Yeah, I talked to Max on campus, and he confirmed for me that not only was he a quarterback in high school, but he was a punter for his high school football team. So he has punted a ball before. It just wasn't a round ball. It was more of an oblong ball, but he does know how to punt, and that shows in his games. He's now punting consistently about 50-60 years. That's a real good rip for a goalkeeper that's never played before. Looks like possibly a mandatory water break here. Seems like they're stopping to drink some water. That is required at a certain temperature on the field. It is required now that water breaks are given to the players, and that's because a team might not have substitutes. They might not have the means of getting water in the field. So here we come indirect. Max Thorpe out of the back for the Central Penn Knights. Moving forward towards halftime. They'll adjust what they're doing and how they're doing it. Maybe adjust their lineups accordingly. 2 very even squads. They play very differently. It'll be interesting to see what kind of moves they make to move the chess pieces around and maybe come up with an advantage in the second half. Here's Devin Price down the right-hand side. And the Penn State captain gets awful handsy there. That's Corey Mueller. He got pretty handsy on that defense, and Christ is able to come up with a free kick call. So it's Central Penn just outside the area, out on the wide right. And Penn State building a wall of 3. I'm guessing at this point that there's no left footer available, or we're just looking to play a sweeping ball.
Maybe a sweeping ball, or they have have a chance on goal, I mean, you kind of gotta expect both.
Yeah, I think you're going to run onto this. We're going to have to with the right-footed player taking the kick. And sure enough, I'm wrong. He shoots it. And the goalkeeper makes a nice save for Penn State Beaver. Real nice play by Brennan Schultz. And it's a corner kick off that touch over the upright.
Central Penn has been working on corners pretty much all week before in prepping this game to get a little bit more deadly. So we'll see if they put to use what they learned this week.
See how they mix this up. I see Jean-Philippe coming up into the mix. Derek Pine is taking the kick. Oh, misplayed by, there's a goal. There's a goal. Is that Devin Price?
Devin Price.
Devin Price.
His first goal of his collegiate career. He's
Devin
excited,
is
that's
happy.
for sure.
Devin is happy. Devin had a beautiful header, back post off a corner kick. And he is the happiest soccer player I think I've almost ever seen.
Devin definitely needed that for his confidence. I mean, it's either gonna really help him throughout this game, and maybe put another chance away. Who knows?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Zach, but he hadn't played soccer for a number of years. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's kind of been his first time out on the field in a long time, and you know, it's surprising that he was the one to score. I'll tell you that, because he's been working on those headers, and it's great to see him put a chance away with his head.
Agreed. Good for him and good for the Knights, who the squad of Dustin Wise take a 3-2 lead here in this match at Adams Ritchie Park in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. It's a beautiful day, about 73, 74 degrees now, and a breeze. Beautiful. There's a ball out of the midfield for Central Penn, played long, and handled by the goalkeeper for Beaver Campus. He distributes wide right to his captain, who has switched sides in the field. I think they're trying to match up the speed a little bit better. Central Penn's really shown a lot of speed in their penetration on counterattacks, and I think Penn State's moving the pieces around right now, trying to see if there's something they can do about that speed, trying to neutralize it a little bit with some quicker players in the back. But having said that, right now, Central Penn has 3-2 numbers. Nice save by Max Thorpe again coming out of the back. Penn State had an absolute through ball, a real chance to score. Darian Gilmore was wide open, had the ball right on his foot, and played a ball in the air, and it hit Thorpe right in the chest. Great save for Max Thorpe. I tell you this, Zach, you can say it's 3-2, but it's 4-3 Penn State if it isn't Max Thorpe, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Penn State had that PK they didn't capitalize on. They had a couple through balls that it was 1v1 with the keeper. It's hard to believe that they didn't put more chances.
Great defense wins games, championships as well. So Central Penn coming out of the back. Here's Ted Kreitz with a ball to Caleb Solis in the midfield. That's lost, and Penn State Beaver coming the other way. They are playing with 3 center mids, so when they win a ball in the midfield, there's always somebody to get it to. John Philippe defending deep in the back. And he gives relinquishes the point. Oh, there's a foul on that play. All right. Foul call on number 7. That's Thompson for Penn State Beaver. And Central Penn will have a free kick coming out of the back. Great job by Philippe. Alright, Central Penn Knights 4 across to the back. Thorpe plays a ball out wide. Nice. It's intercepted right away by Penn State. Questionable pass there. Giving Penn State a real quality opportunity. Wide open goal. Wide open goal given up by Central Penn. Unfortunately, just a quick wall pass in the area. Two nice players, two nice passes, and Penn State has tallied, and Beaver campus is now 3-3 with Central Penn.
Really unnecessary errors there. I mean, they screwed around in the back for too long, and it's only a matter of time before Penn State capitalizes on that. Hopefully they learn from that one.
Yeah, that first pass was misguided. Put it right in front of their own goal, and it just went downhill from there. And they are the type of players. Penn State has the skill up front. If you make a mistake, they're going to make you pay for it. That's how it is. So Central Penn will have to learn. I think a big factor there is I have a feeling Todd Berry's hurt, because Todd's a rock in that Central defense, and he's not back there. I think that has to have something to do with the situation. All right. A goal kick coming out for Central Penn. Max Thorpe again teeing it up. We must be getting close to halftime. It must be about to break. Price freezes the ball wide. Oh, and Penn State takes it right in and scores. Wow, that was a quick turnaround, Zach. In 2 minutes, we've gone from a 3-2 Central Penn lead to a 4-3 Central Penn deficit. Just another bad pass out there on the flank, and Garcia takes it, and he threaded the needle. I mean, the angle on that shot was vicious. I'm shocked that a person could put a ball away from that angle.
Yeah, the angle just wasn't there, and it's surprising he made it work. And yeah, we'll see how Central Penn bounces back from this one. They were down early in the game, so I don't doubt they won't be able to pull one away.
Well, there's no quit in Coach Dustin Wise's squad. There's no doubt about that. The one thing I am concerned about is the absence of Todd Berry back there in the back. That's a concern. So now we have another player in the game. This is young Anthony McClinton. What can you tell us about McClinton coming off the bench for Central Penn?
He's a first-year player, and he's still trying to learn how to do some things with the ball, but he definitely works hard, and that's one thing you gotta give credit to him.
Oh, wow. So Penn State just again passes the ball right around inside the 18, off an errant pass, and another mental error results in another Penn State goal. And unfortunately, this game is going south very quickly for the Central Penn Knights. You can't call timeout in soccer. That's a problem.
Yeah, you definitely can, and they need something to bounce themselves back. I mean, confidence is kind of dwindling as we speak.
Yeah, you can see people with their hands up and chewing on each other a little bit, and that's human nature, but that's the last thing you want to have happen when you give up a couple goals, especially 3 that quickly. I don't know if I've ever seen 3 goals scored in that short a period of time. It couldn't have been 4 minutes. Very, very difficult situation, but Coach Wise will coach his way out of it here in a few minutes when we get to halftime. Hopefully that'll happen for them soon, and they can get things turned around. Penn State again has the ball out wide right, and they're possessing at this point, knocking the ball back. Penn State switches fields, brings it back over to the left side of the pitch, and it goes down that deep to the left side into the corner. Number 7, Thompson, has it there. And Penn State Beaver ends up with a corner kick, so another dangerous situation for the Knights here, where they have to defend against the corner. Penn State's ready with one substitution. They can certainly rotate their players now and freshen their legs with the lead they've surrounded. Corner kick is played wide right. Number 20 goes up with a shot at it. His name is Dia, and it ends up off the end line, and it's a goal kick for Max Thorpe and the Central Penn Knights. Let's see if they can turn this around, put the ball back on the grass, possess it down to the Penn State end. Maybe get one of those goals back before halftime, Zach. Maybe they could get back in the game just by getting one good goal.
Yeah, they need something to kind of boost their confidence, and they need something going forward.
Yeah, I saw that.
So the goal kick comes out of the back. It's possessed to Kyle Vargas. He moves it up the field.
You notice when Kyle Vargas gets the ball, no one's really talking to him, and he didn't really know what to do, and if someone was telling him to turn or go the same way the ball came, maybe have a better idea of what to do.
That's interesting, Zach. You brought that up in our last broadcast, the lack of communication out there on the field. Do you think that has something to do with so many first-year players, or to what do you attribute that lack of communication? Because in soccer, you don't have eyes in the back of your head. You need people to tell you what's around you.
Personally, I think if you're not really talking, it has something to do with maybe fitness might not be there, or something. You might be tired. There's a lot of different reasons as to why a team doesn't talk. I mean, talking is probably one of the most important aspects of soccer, as in most sports. I mean, it's just.
You got players chewing on referees out there now, so you know the frustration level's starting to set in a little bit. The referees didn't change anything.
That's one key thing Central Penn really needs to keep their cools with, is talking back to the refs. We definitely saw that against Williamson Trade. Williamson Trade did get a more of an attitude, and calls started coming our way. So that's one thing that we could kind of control for ourselves.
Well, I'll say this for Central Penn and every player on that pitch right now for the Central Penn Knights. There's not an ounce of quit in any of them, because every single guy out there is working as hard as he can. And there's just no quit. So they're going to keep working hard here until halftime, regroup. I'm sure Coach Wise will make some adjustments, probably in the back. I'm not sure what's going on with Todd Berry, but obviously that's a really critical piece of the puzzle for Coach Wise. But he'll figure that out and get that sorted out in the back so we can have those mistakes go away. And they'll figure out a way to get back in this game. So let's just see what happens here and give it some time. Right now it's a little sloppy in the midfield. Just looks like a tennis match. The ball's just going left to right, up and down the field without a lot of accurate passing. So there's a lot of turnovers and a lot of turnovers and a lot of kicking. You just feel like you're at tennis here.
Yeah,
it goes right to
not
left.
Soccer.
Not the way it's supposed to look, is it, Zach?
No.
Yeah, I know for guys like you that know how to play the game right, it's tough to watch that. But well, I'll tell you, when fatigue sets in, it's hard to get those legs to do what you want. People don't realize how hard a half of soccer is. Not that many people in the world go outside and run for 45 minutes straight, sprinting and jogging the entire time. And if you told the average citizen they had to go out for 45 minutes and then sprint every other telephone pole and then take a little rest and do it again, I think they'd look at you like you're crazy. So it takes a lot of fitness to play this game.
Absolutely.
All right, well, here comes Caleb Solis out of the back end for Central Penn. And there's a foul on the play, so Central Penn has a free kick coming out of the back. Trenton Bradley will take that kick, captain center back. Very strong first-year player, Zach. Trenton Bradley?
Oh, absolutely. Trent's kind of the rock in defense. He can play the long ball. He could also be a threat going forward. There's so many aspects of his game that kind of help the team.
So, there's a foul call on Penn State Beaver. And, quick pass. Interesting restart on that one. The ball was placed outside the area, and Penn State, or Central Penn could have lined that up for a free kick, but instead they made the decision to play quickly off to the right side to Christ, and he just hit the ball a little bit, and it went wide right. But interesting, caught Penn State looking a little bit. Now the ball's being knocked around in the midfield yet again quite a bit. Again, lack of communication there cost some possession. Here comes Kyle Vargas, and he's a ball player. That young man can really pass a soccer ball. He knows this game well. Learned to play it in Germany, of all places. He came in from Kaiserslautern, Germany, and Ramstein Air Force Base. And there's no better place to learn the game than in Deutschland. That's where they play some great football, and Kyle really learned it well. Oh, nice ball. Hard take by Christ from the right side, goes wide right, so Penn State will come out with a goal kick, and we should be getting very close to it. Penn State possessing the ball easily up their right-hand pitch. Ball kept on the ground as usual.
Go, Devin, kick it in.
Another hard shot by Christ, cleared by a defender, number 16 for Penn State. Golden, I think it was going to be an easy save for the keeper anyhow. I think Schultz was lined up to make the save, but Golden came in and cleared that ball. And it's a goal, it was offsides against Central Penn, so it's coming out for Central Penn, or for Penn State Beaver. Derek Miller with possession for Central Penn. Switches fields over to Devin Price. Price looking for an option down the pitch. And it's hit out of bounds off of Penn State Beaver. Throw in for Price.
Good job, Bo. Good job. Stay with it, Good job.
Again, more kicking than passing over here on the right side of the field. Solis loses possession in the midfield, and it comes back to Vargas. Vargas gives it to Penn State. And the ball's out. Really stiff breeze today, Zach. If you were a team making a decision about which half you'd want to go which direction, given the nature of that huge flag over there, would you care? Would it matter to you?
Yeah, it definitely would. I mean, you definitely don't want to be going into the wind. You want to be going downwind and kind of downhill, especially for the faster players we have on Central Penn.
First half or second half? When do you want to win? What a save. Great save by Matt Thorpe. There's just no telling how big he's been in this game because, I mean, Penn State Beaver probably has 8 or 9 goals if it isn't for Matt Thorpe and the play he's demonstrated back there. That was a beautiful breakaway for Penn State. Number 7, Thompson, had what appeared to be a sure thing goal on the left-hand side. He placed it perfectly, and Thorpe just came up huge. Big diving save. It's hard to think of it that way, but it's the same thing as scoring one. Penn State gives up the ball easy in the Central Penn end, and here comes Max Thorpe out. Ready to punt the ball to his teammates. High and long. Beautiful punt. Right to McClintock. Bounces through to Sophie. Who's going to win this ball? And it rebounds off a defender, off of Sophie, right into the hands of the goalkeeper for Penn State Beaver campus. And they're possessing the ball again back up the field, coming out of their own end. With all the substitutions and fatigue at this point, there's just a lot of turnovers and a lot of opportunities for both teams. So Devin Christ does a great job of getting down the right-hand side. He mixes it up with the Penn State goalkeeper, and sure enough, it ends up being a corner. So great job by Devin Christ, winning a corner kick for Central Penn. So we'll see what Dustin Wise' squad can pull up here and what they can do with this opportunity. Derek Pine's going to take this corner. It appears he takes all of the corner kicks for Central Penn. So let's see where they put this one and who can run onto it. Can Christ capitalize again with that big head of hair and get another ball in the goal? Oh, Solis was looking to tee that up. Now Vargas has it up at the top of the area, and he's dribbling through the area. And it is cleared by Penn State Beaver.
If you have a half a chance at the top of the 18, you got to take it. I mean, they need to realize they'll never get that full chance.
So you're blasting that shot, and it is half. So as we expected, Zach, it's quite a game. It's not where Central Penn would want it to be at this point, but we know that Dustin Wise will go adapt. He's not a happy man right now. He's barking orders, and he's an ex-military guy, so that's the way you would expect him to call his team to the sideline, and that's okay. So that'll get those guys in shape. Any particular moves you think might be made at halftime by Dustin Wise to adjust to what's going on out there, Zach?
Maybe put a little bit more solid back four, and possibly keeping the front line the same. I mean, I think Jordan Heil needs to be a target forward to give that kind of mix up for the Penn State defense. Yeah.
Well, for Zach Morrill, I'm Doug Fisher, and our producer is Professor Paul Miller, coming to you from Adams Rickey Park in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. We'll take a break for the half, and we'll look forward to doing the second half with you here shortly. Well, good afternoon. It's halftime here at Adams Rickey Park in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. I'm joined today by Casey Hicks. Casey is our new athletic director at Central Penn College, and we're just more than excited to have her here as the new leader of our athletic department. Casey, a couple questions for you, if you don't mind.
Sure.
How's the soccer season going so far, both for the men and the women?
Men and women are starting off pretty strong. The men, Coach Dustin Wise just got his first collegiate win last week, and the guys are looking to keep that rolling. Tough game today against Penn State Beaver, one of our toughest opponents. So hopefully picking up another win here today. We got a second half, and both teams are looking strong. The women are have 2 wins under their belt so far too. So both teams playing hard. We're proud of both of them.
It's interesting at Central Penn because we have 4 semesters per year instead of 2 like traditional colleges. We'll have players coming into these teams new in the middle of their season. So soccer in the fall season, we get new players in the middle of a season. As a coach, how is that?
That's difficult. That's, I think, one of the biggest challenges we face at Central Penn specifically. Just to bring in some new players in the middle of a season, worry about the team chemistry, having some of those new players coming in, catching up on the plays, the system, things like that. So it's difficult to have them step in the middle. But the coaches work hard, the players all work hard to get everybody caught up, and as long as the chemistry is there, they kind of step in and we make it all work.
I know how busy you are. Tell us about the other sports at Central Penn.
Yeah, so we have men's and women's basketball as well, and then baseball season coming up. We are doing some fall ball for baseball, so men's and women's basketball is right around the corner. Both of those teams are both looking strong, both coming off winning seasons last year, so definitely some exciting things up and coming in Central Penn athletics.
Agreed. Yeah, I believe our basketball teams have a rich history of being very, very strong in terms of wins and losses, player development, and the expectation every year is that these teams are going to be some of the tops in the whole country. So when a student athlete comes to Central Penn to play basketball or to play soccer or any other sport, it's serious business.
It
And
sure is.
they plan on working hard and getting the grades and getting a quality education while they're at it. How about in the spring? What happens in the spring with Central Penn sports?
Yeah, so in the spring we have baseball kicking off with their regular season. Our baseball program, this year we have 15 recruits coming in, so awesome recruiting season for baseball. They're coming, they've been to the Small College World Series in the past, and we're looking to get them back there, so definitely have the roster, have the talent in the spring. We're looking to send them back there and have a great season in baseball as well.
What else can you tell us about what's going on with Central Penn sports right now?
That's pretty much it. We're jumping into soccer season right now. Definitely looking forward to men's and women's basketball. Any student athlete who's interested, we have a recruit form online. Go on there, fill it out. We'd love to have the coaches connect with you. We're building these winning teams. We're going to be tough. So I'm proud of the Central Penn Knights, and we're going to keep rolling with it.
Well, congratulations again on your promotion. We're thrilled to have
Thank
you as
you,
our
thank
athletic
you.
director.
It's been great. Look, this is my office out here. So.
A bad day out here is better than a good day in any other office,
You got
right?
it, you got
Well,
it.
congratulations,
Thank
Casey,
you.
and thank you for joining us.
Appreciate it.
All
Thank
right.
you, guys.
Slap her up here. It's time for second half soccer. Central Penn Knights hosting the Beaver campus of Penn State University. The Nittany Lions coming to Adams-Rickey Park at Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. We're in the 70s with a breeze. Zach, we couldn't have a nicer day for soccer. What do you think? Second half?
Yeah, this is a good day for soccer for sure. I think the Central Penn Knights are going to come out with a little more intensity. They sorted a few issues out that they needed to improve on, and I think they're gonna come out strong and hopefully put 2 chances away to get this score back to even.
Your lips, Zach. I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right. It would be really nice to score early in this half and start to equalize the situation as quickly as possible. The Central Penn immediately intercepted a pass and took it down the right-hand side of the pitch. They are headed towards the Penn State Beaver end. And it's a throw-in out on the far right flank. And a nice flick in the middle of the goal. Oh, Sophie wide open. There's the goal we needed. There is the goal Central Penn needed. Real nice pass from Solis to Sophie, and Sophie buried it. Maybe 8 feet on that shot. I'm not sure how you could miss the goal from that close. I mean, he was right on top of it. Not sure how he got that open, but it doesn't matter. The fact is, Central Penn's back in the match.
The key with that was Sufjan. He actually was so composed when he got the ball that all he needed to do was place it, and the keeper really had no chance.
Yeah, you make a good point. Some players might have lost their composure with that easy an opportunity. And here comes Central Penn again off the turnover. It seems like they heard whatever Coach Dustin had to say. They certainly heard Coach Wise clearly, because they are adjusted and they are out there and they are attacking the Penn State end viciously.
Let it go.
So, ball out on the right-hand side. Penn State going from our left to our right. Captain number 3, Corey Mueller, taking the throw in, and it's turned over, and Solis has the ball for Central Penn. Number 12, Garcia, comes up with it for the Nittany Lions, and it's turned over again, and here comes Kyle Vargas out of the back to Solis. Passes quickly to Pine. Solis in the midfield, and here's Central Penn knocking the ball around, showing some patience, some poise, and some passing skill. Everything's going their way right now. This is a good thing. Here comes the Knights. Possessing the ball just outside the area for the Nittany Lions. Oh, there's a push by the Lions. That'll be a Central Penn free kick. The Central Penn Knights will take a free kick coming out of their back end. And this will, as always, be Trenton Bradley taking this free kick because he has a leg. Ball switched wide left to Vargas. Legitimate opportunity. Left-footed shot by Vargas to far post. No one there to take advantage of that opportunity. So unfortunately that goes to waste, and out come the Lions. And the Lions take their shot at a through ball, playing a ball in deep to number 12, Garcia, who already has 2 goals today. Here he comes again into the area. Oh, shot right at Thorpe from the far post. Philippe. Wow. Could have been a questionable call there, Zach, but it worked out. Jean-Philippe clears the ball with his left foot. It ends up in the hands of Max Thorpe, and here comes the Central Penn Knights. Thorpe's now punting into the wind, so that takes a few meters off of his kicks when he comes out. And Central Penn had a 1v1 there, a good opportunity, but no return on investment in that particular situation. Here goes, guys been fairly quiet today. Bolton in the midfield. He hasn't had his share of touches in this game, but Central Penn hasn't really done that much passing possession in the middle of the field anyhow, so it's understandable that he wouldn't be getting all those touches. And this is a goal kick for the Knights. So Zach, what do you see different? What do you think Coach Dustin Wise did with his team at halftime that made this adjustment that allowed them to get back in the game, take a little more control of the possession again, and score a goal?
I think defensively it starts there. I mean, they're just so much more composed. I mean, they're not rushing to get the ball forward. They're going to see what's there and take what the game brings them. And then in the midfield, I think they've gotten a lot better with just winning the first ball and securing the second one, and then forward. I mean, they're just going with intensity, and they just really they're just striving for that goal.
Get out there, get that. And go deep,
So here comes the Lions again from the right-hand flank, and their right back gives the ball away to Thorpe, and it's again the Knights coming out of their own end. Well, we'll see what Central Penn can build up here and create an opportunity. They've got their goal scorer up in the front now, so they're trying to create opportunities for him. There's no target forward. There's just one singular player up top, and it's his job. He's staying way out on the left side of the pitch, not playing in the middle of the field. So it's pretty obvious what Central Penn's trying to do. They're trying to get the ball to number 10 and see what he can create in these situations, because he is a dynamic player. So here comes Bolton out of the midfield. Bolton to Bradley. Bradley plays it up front. Oh, great interception now. Central Penn has real numbers here. 3v3 in the front of the field. If they can maintain this, Kreitz has the ball. If he can maintain possession. Unfortunately, that's out of bounds. Penn State Beaver going the other way. And Beaver blasts the ball out of the back. Derek Miller, Middletown product, heads that ball back and takes a run down the left-hand flank, which is typical of this system here at Central Penn. And there goes Miller down into the left-hand corner. He's being held. Interesting call. Can't see it from here. The referee has the angle, so we trust that was the right call. Miller looks tied up on the play, and it's called against him. So he retreats to his left back position. Interesting, Zach, in this what I'll call Tottenham system, because that's the Premiership team that plays most like Central Penn. Your left back is also your left mid often. You see him down the field inside the area.
Yeah, the outside backs are usually the most fit on the team. They kind of have to run the most, and they're defensive first, but they can go forward at any time.
So what Coach Wise is doing there, the standard four-man back, flat back four, he's loading up his central midfield with bodies, giving up his outside midfielders, and using his outside backs as the runners down the flank. And Miller seems to have the stamina to do it. He's down there often.
He definitely has been one of the most consistent players this season. Only about 4 or 5 games in, and he just you get what you get with Derek, and you don't get anything worse.
Now here's a big-time opportunity for Penn State, and the player just shot it too hard. I gotta say, he was at point-blank range and just rifled a shot up over the goal. That was number 19 for Penn State. Zach, how big did that goal look to him?
It looked pretty big, but he soon found out it wasn't that big.
Those are one of the ones
he deserved more of a better opportunity there.
I got a Stephen John.
And here comes Kyle Vargas, number 12, another captain for the Central Penn Knights. Plays the ball into the center of the field to Ted Craig. Sophie, oh, what a rip. Great shot by Sophie again. He just took the ball right off of Ted Craig's foot and ripped the shot, just missed upper V on the right side. And it's Penn State's ball coming back the other way. Beaver campus trying to establish their possession game in the second half. I will say this, Central Penn has really amped up their defensive pressure, and they've made it a lot harder to possess the ball. They haven't gone to a man-marking defense, but they are all over these Nittany Lions when they receive a pass, so it's much harder for them to maintain the possession than it was in the first half. Looks like we have a substitution, essentially for an injury. Is he limping off the field?
Maybe he got
Derek Pine going on. Seems early to sub him, does it not?
I think just because he played the whole half, and I'm sure he's going to go back on. I think he just needs a breather and shake it off.
We hope so. It's Derek's a fine player. This is his, I believe, second game for Central Penn and Dustin Wise. It's Penn State throw in on the left-hand side. Okay, free kick for Central Penn coming out of the back. You know what that means. Trenton Bradley will be teeing this thing up.
Looks like the other TB.
Yeah.
Todd Berry's going to be teeing it up.
Ah, you're right. Boy, that's unusual. That's unusual. They are both amazing defenders, but Bradley.
Oh, you got to love it.
Think of that. Great flick by Colvarga. Is that what you're loving, Zach?
Sophie's really he's really a pass-first player, as you can see. I mean, he's always looking. He's not looking to take it himself all the time. He likes to mix it up in his game, and that makes him so dynamic when going forward. He's really an all-around attacker.
So how does that wash out with being a single forward in this system? Not always going to have somebody to pass it.
That's true, and that's when his speed comes in. I mean, his speed really can separate him from the outside backs or the center backs. And looks like we have a foul here. Let's see if Central Penn takes opportunity and puts one on frame and tests his keeper out.
Yeah, I believe that for Penn State put a really tough hit on number 6, Trenton Bradley, center back for Central Penn. He's Trenton's still grabbing his legs, but he's okay.
10 yards.
He's a tough kid. He'll suck it up.
He is a blue-collar athlete.
Just a consummate tough soccer player.
He will out blue-collar anybody on the field. That's for sure. What a save!
Great shot, great save. And now the goalkeeper's out of position. He made that save wide left, and he's since stayed out of the goal. A goalkeeper can move forward faster than they can move backward. So you always want to give yourself space to move forward. And he's still hugging that near post. So Central Penn could get an opportunity for our post that could pay off. So Penn State comes out of the back, pushing the ball to the midfield, and puts it right back in. Ball's out of bounds on the far side, and it is Central Penn ball. So they'll take the throw. Penn State ball. Down the left-hand side against Bradley. Number 6, Trenton Bradley, wins that free kick. Deep right for Central Penn. This game has settled down now, Zach, to where it's starting to become a grind. So we're probably a third to a half the way into the second half. No scoreboard here at Adams Rickey, so we don't have running time on the match. But we know we're now far enough into the second half that fatigue will start to be felt in the legs of these players, and it's a one-goal match. It's extremely close, and that makes it more interesting now. The game will settle down, and it'll come down to mistakes and quality passing, quality shooting, and we'll see which team has the poise. But it only takes one goal here, and this is a tie match, and that's what Dustin Wise and his assistant coach, Dylan Kleintop, are looking for. Talk a little bit about the assistant coach here at Central Penn, Zach. Dylan Kleintop, you were his teammate for a couple of years.
Yeah, Dylan Kleintop, he actually is a former player. Last season he was one of the key players to contribute to another winning season for Central Penn. He really understands defensively what to do, and he knows how to pass the ball, that's for sure. And he can get the players that played his similar position to understand where to pass the ball and where they need to be positionally. He really brings a good aspect to this team.
It certainly doesn't hurt a coach to have played the game and played it recently and knows the modern game, and he also knows exactly what players are going through, and for that matter, there wouldn't be much stopping Dylan from mixing it up in a practice and throwing the boots on and getting back on that pitch.
Absolutely, and another thing that he knows the majority of the teams we play because he experienced it, and some of the players that he knows their tendencies and kind of what to tell the players.
Well, interestingly enough, he's a study of the game. Dylan is wanted to coach his whole playing career. He looks forward to coaching. I think he'll be a fantastic coach. And there's an opportunity off a corner for Penn State Beaver, but it's headed wide. Goal kick to Max Thorpe and the Central Penn Knights. Yeah, I think Dylan will be an incredible asset, and his value will grow each week during the season for head coach Dustin Wise as he develops more confidence as a coach. I loaned him a book a few weeks ago by Alex Ferguson, the famed coach of the Manchester United squad that won the treble, and let him read about that, because I know that's Dylan's favorite team and how much Manchester United means to him, and I bet you he's reading that book and studying every week on how to be a better coach for Central Penn. So here's Penn State in the midfield, knocking the ball around, possessing it as they do well in the back. And now we've got Kyle Vargas pushing up top for Central Penn, trying to put some pressure on that defense. Penn State's just a solid possession game. Switching the whole way across the field to R.J. Long. R.J. Long takes a long shot and hits it just wide. That was a shot. That was about 40 meters, Zach. I don't know if you can expect to make it from back there, but he wasn't that far off.
Hey, sometimes you gotta play the lottery, right?
We've got jets going overhead from nearby Harrisburg Middletown Airport. Small but international airport in this region. Central Penn College sits on a beautiful little campus here in Summerdale, Pennsylvania. It's a suburb of what you'd call a suburb of Harrisburg, the capital. And it's a soccer hotbed. There's a lot of great soccer programs in this area. There's a shot for Penn State off of Thorpe. Another nice save for Max Thorpe. I tell you that the number of goals he's saved in this game are huge. Might be the man of the match before it's all over. Long punt up front. Wind has died down a little. Penn State possessing the ball up out of the back. Garcia makes a pass deep down the left side, and Penn State has penetrated. Jean-Philippe is a really, really fast human being. That young man can really run, and he got back in a hurry and made up for the position he had lost on that penetrating pass, and did a great job on defense. Number 15 for the Knights. He loses the ball over the end line, so that's a corner kick for Penn State. Unfortunate opportunity here, so the Knights will need to man up on this play and make sure they defend against these taller players, in particular R.J. Long, number 4 for Penn State, who is quite tall. He's a sophomore from New Jersey, and he's a tall young man. And they also have number 23 in there, Yakimov, and he too is a very large person. Penn State takes several shots, and I believe that's a handball. That's a handball, and I believe that'll be a penalty kick for Penn State. Unfortunate situation here. Let's see if Max Thorpe can come up big again. There's going to be a penalty kick for the Penn State Beaver campus against the Central Penn Knights. I believe there was an intentional handball in the area, and that is an automatic penalty kick. There's no debating that call, is there?
No, not at all. If it's a handball, it's a handball. Especially in the box, it gets called every time.
So you were the only guy, and that kick is good. So now it's a 2-goal lead for Penn State Beaver, but this thing's long from over. We've got plenty of time to come back. Let me ask you this, Zach. What goes through your mind when you're teeing that thing up and it's just you and the goalkeeper? There's no teammates, there's no movement. It's a dead moment. You're sort of on an island, are you not?
Yeah, it's definitely really mental. I mean, you got to know what you're doing before you even line up. I mean, people do choose whether they think the goalie should choose whether or not what side to go to. It's kind of all on you.
Well, there was nothing Max Thorpe could do about that one. That ball was blasted into the upper, and there's just no way anybody was going to stop that shot. The only saves that get made on penalty kicks are low, and that one was up there and it was tough, and there's no stopping it. So, unfortunately, it's a 2-goal deficit again for the Central Penn Knights, but they have time to come back and knot this thing up. So let's let Coach Wise's team. Hit him Sophie into the area. He gets a real opportunity for Penn State and just doesn't capitalize. He loses the ball a little bit. Number 10 in white, going right to left here at Adams Rickey Park, and he just punched the ball to himself. It was the oddest thing. It shows you how fast he is. He actually played himself a through ball, ran by a defender, and recovered that ball, and almost scored a goal. So quite an exhibition of skill for him.
A little bit of errors coming from Penn State Beaver.
Yeah,
let's see if Central Penn can kind of capitalize. The most dangerous time is right after a team scores. They get complacent, and that's the most dangerous time for the opposing team to come down and score.
Good point. Yeah. So we had 2 players mixed up there. So there's a stoppage in play. There's a foul against Central Penn, so it'll be Penn State Beaver ball coming out. Number 10 down for the Knights. And Penn State's number 17 also holding himself really. He got banged in the nose, actually. So this has turned out to be pretty much exactly what we expected. A tough, physical, but yet very skilled and good soccer match. Just not the result we're looking for at this point. There's a foul on Bolton.
You definitely don't see this every day. How many goals have been scored in a single game? I mean, when you watch it on TV, you might only see maybe 2 or 3 goals.
Well, in the first 3 matches for Central Penn, they scored 1 goal. And they have 3 today, and they had 4 in their last match. So that dynamic has changed, I think, with the introduction of these 2 new players. I think that whole dynamic has gone away, and Central Penn is now a scoring team. And I don't want to say this, but my partner in crime here, Zach Morrill, who's announcing the game with me, had all-American numbers playing forward for this team 2 years ago. He was our go-to guy. He took every penalty kick. He was just one of the best players in the United States. And if you could imagine this year, yet with Zach out there, I mean, it's not even a pretty picture. I'm not sure where Dustin Wise would be playing everybody, but he'll get his chance next year when he comes back from this knee injury. And he had to have a little ACL surgery, but Zach's off his crutches and he's moving well. Zach, how soon will you be doing any kind of soccer activity?
I'm looking more towards kind of the 9-month mark out of surgery, post-surgery. Probably start playing, maybe doing a few touches on the ball, and then maybe midsummer of 2020 get back to playing full contact.
Nice. So you expect to play next fall?
Yeah, I expect to come back 100% next fall.
Good for you. Good for you.
Hopefully make an impact on this team, whatever the case, whatever this team needs me to do.
Dustin Wise is loaded with young talent, and to have a veteran like you come back would be an incredible boost for him. So let's hope that happens. So Todd Berry playing a really nice ball deep out of the back end for Central Penn. Almost makes it to Vargas, but not quite. He continues to chase, and Penn State continues to possess. Their captain number 4, R.J. Long, coming down the left-hand side. And he plays a ball up top to Garcia, who is in an offside position, came back on. He doesn't understand the call, but the AR is correct as usual. And that's exactly the call it should have been. That's one of those ones that confuses fans and gets fans yelling at refs when they shouldn't be, but it's just one of the more complex parts of soccer. So here comes Central Penn with an opportunity in the area, and that's a goal. So it's a one-goal game again. So number 10. Zach, talk about that goal.
That was just an extremely good individual effort, flick on by one of his teammates, and he kind of just took it himself, took ownership of what he needed to do, and put the ball in the back of the net. That was his 3rd goal of the game, and it wouldn't surprise me if he scored another 2 more.
I believe it was from Pine, and it was a really nice ball, and he made hay with it. He touched it down the side. He didn't have the greatest angle either, but he placed that shot at the far post and put it home, and now we're back to another one-goal match. And it's been a while since Penn State experienced any success, so maybe it's them that'll be feeling the pressure now to get their game together. And so Penn State down the right-hand side.
I'm not either.
Penn State in possession in the Central Penn end. Ball's wide left.
Good stop.
Todd Berry heads the ball away. The goalkeeper might have been a little late with his communication there. Unfortunately, that's a corner. So Penn State's got to man up now as these tall players for the Penn State Beaver campus Nittany Lions come into the area for a dangerous corner kick opportunity. It's up to Central Penn to play solid man defense here.
Good stop.
Cleared by Central Penn. Bolton released that ball from the back. Penn State still with possession.
Come on, Kyle.
Much further from the goal. Ball played towards the area and handled by Thorpe well.
So Pauling, you
Comes
need
up
to go
quickly with another
downfield.
ball out deep to number 10,
Stop.
Sophie. Plays Pine.
Nothing's open. Nothing's open. Good fade, good fade. Safe.
So Derek Pine takes a shot about 22, 23 meters. Probably not the most advised shot. He's a little bit off balance, but like you said, sometimes you have to play the lottery. Now here's Penn State going the other way with a breakaway. Oh, shot off of Thorpe. Great save by Max Thorpe. I'm not sure it didn't hit him in the head. I think he's dizzy. Yeah, Max been knocked a little silly here, so he's going to shake that off, we hope. Max Thorpe saying that he got hit in the mouth with the ball.
That's kind of the job description of a goalie.
Yeah, it is.
Keep the ball in the net. It really works.
Bruises, cuts, and everything else you can imagine. The life of a goalkeeper, they just get beat up, and there's no telling how much it happens. Yeah, he took a shot to the mouth. He's a really tough kid. Really tough kid. He's a leader in the student government too. He's vice president of the student body for Central Penn College. And, that means other students not only had the faith in him to elect him to that office, but they trusted him to be their leader. And the same is true out here on the soccer field. From that goal, you have to be a leader and bark orders, and he does that. So Max is back in position. It's another corner kick for the Penn State Lions, and Max is back in position and ready to defend his goal against this corner kick. Of course, as I said earlier, the goalkeeper can move forward the fastest, so you want the opportunity to move forward. You want to stay back in your goal. And then the first thing, of course, the opposing team does is they stand the player right in front of you, so you can't run straight forward. So that's something a goalkeeper deals with day in and day out. It's part of the job.
They definitely got me on video. They definitely got me.
So here's Thorpe with a goal kick after that errant header off the corner kick.
I think I'm gonna have 5 points, 4 more points.
Played shorter to Pine.
There you go, Dev. Take it, Dev.
They can't do nothing. They can't do nothing because you definitely on the hook. But
Penn State with a standard wall pass down the right-hand side. Todd Berry defending.
Defense.
And
That's
Todd
a
Berry
trick, ref.
defending against number 19.
Do we have a call, ref?
Oh my goodness, that's an unfortunate, unlucky goal. Penn State Beaver just scored again to take another 2-goal lead. And what happened there, I believe, is the young man went up real high, Baliga, to head the ball, and I believe he headed it off a Central Penn player who could not avoid it. It just ricocheted off of his head into the goal. Is that what you saw, Zach?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Very unlucky.
That was just unfortunate deflection. I mean, it looked like it had no chance, but
7-5.
when you least expect it, you gotta expect it.
Well said. Yeah, that's a really tough goal to absorb. That's the kind that hurts you psychologically because you didn't do anything wrong. Everybody was marking their man, you know, and everybody was doing their job, and sometimes that just happens, and that's soccer, you know.
I can't see the tape.
That's the nature of this game. Got to deal with it. So now it's a 2-goal deficit again, and Central Penn's got to be confident. But I think at this point, would you say they need to start feeling a sense of urgency in terms of getting these 2 goals back?
Yeah, they definitely need to make something happening quick. They need to get the first one, and then the second one will come. They just need to take it 1 goal at a time and look to put the ball in the back of the
But she
net.
can't tell you that's not what you do.
She can't tell me I'm lying.
Coach Devin, Billy Kleintop over there on the sideline, he has the standard unhappy coach pose. Arms are folded. When you see a soccer coach standing with their arms folded, that generally means they're not very pleased with what they're seeing. I know that because I've done it before. I know that pose, and boy, it's just there's no worse feeling because as a coach, there's nothing you can do. You can't go out there and play the game. You can teach them, but you can't play. And so here comes Central Penn trying to win a ball out of their back end, but right now Penn State's possessing the ball as they do very effectively. Ball's cleared well by Bolton out to the side, but it's still Penn State Beaver campus with possession. And a 2-goal lead fairly late in this contest. So Central Penn now really needs to feel a sense of urgency. I'm a little surprised that they don't have their fastest player at the very last defender with an opportunity to play a through ball at any moment. What do you think, Zach? What would you be doing right now?
I would try to be getting it to number 10, Sufjan, or someone with speed. I mean, he's been hot all game. Why not give him the ball, right?
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going with that, Zach. Sufjan is the fastest player on the pitch on either team, and if it's me, I think at this point he's standing next to their last defender, and I'm knocking the ball into space, see if I can get one of those goals back quickly. Now that's just me talking. That's if I knew everything, I'd be the coach, right? So, but it's easy to coach from here.
Keeper.
So ball played into the area, handled by Max Thorpe. He comes up throwing to Solis down the right-hand side, left-hand side. Caleb gets taken down. Free kick for the Knights. And again, a sense of urgency. Barry's right on top of it. And he's playing the ball long. Looking for Sufjan and hoping to connect up top there. Jordan Hiles back in the game, and he's the target forward. He's playing up top. Big redhead, definitely a target player. Now here's an offsides call against Garcia for Penn State. And he should be booked for kicking that ball away, but I don't know if he will.
Very unnecessary.
Yeah, very. It's also common to the sport. I remember coaching in Como Lake, Italy, against FC Barcelona, you know, the professional program with a club team, and the time they wasted when they got a lead on us was unbelievable, and they were masters at it. And you know what? It angers you, but there's not a thing you can do about it because these international referees are not going to talk. You just have to learn to do it. We advanced and they didn't, so there was justice.
I was going for the stop.
Substitutes coming in. I see Ted Craig coming off the bench for Central Penn, and my goodness, I believe this is almost like a line change for Penn State Beaver. I believe they have 8 or 9 substitutes coming off their bench.
That's not very president-like.
Everybody's going over the board. So a lot of fresh legs for Penn State Beaver with a 2-goal lead.
When we were on the phone?
that's one advantage Penn State Beaver does have over Central Penn. They do have bodies.
Yeah, and that'll be the case. That's something we have to learn to deal with. But I'll say this too: Coach Dustin Wise is a tough man, and he keeps these kids fit and tough. And, there'll be no quitting them. They will keep working as hard as they can humanly work right up to that whistle. And see if they can get that one goal to get them back in the game. If you can score one, you can score two. So it's just a matter of one at a time. There's a throw-in. Remember, there's never an offsides on a throw-in. Where Penn State gets in over the back. And number 10, real nice little midfield player, is...
Yeah, thank you.
That was an interesting battle. For Penn State, is just a very talented, gifted young little midfielder that really can handle a ball well. And he came up against Trenton Bradley, and Trenton Bradley, I think, just put about 3 bruises on him and took the ball away, and then got a foul call as well. So it's Central Penn ball going the other way, and now it's Penn State coming back towards the Central Penn goal.
Trenton Bradley definitely has an eye for drawing a foul. He might have not gotten fouled that hard, but he does know how to expose it.
He certainly is a very, very gifted young soccer player. I don't know what his background or future is in terms of where he's going in his life and everything, but he's one of those players that Central Penn is very lucky to have. He obviously could have played at probably any level he wanted to. Very, very strong player. It's amazing the athletic talent that Central Penn College is able to bring into their sports teams on a small campus like this. But it's a gorgeous little campus where you get a quality education, and it's a quality experience for these athletes, and they love playing together, and they're very, very tight, these teams. They get along great. I think Casey Hicks, new athletic director who we heard from at halftime, doing a terrific job of gelling the programs and getting the right coaches, coaching the right kids, and it's really coming together nicely for the Central Penn athletic program. There's a breakaway goal for Penn State, and you could see that coming. That's number 10, John Kamirsic. He had a breakaway down the middle of the field, and that's just fatigue and frustration setting in. As Penn State Beaver takes a 3-goal lead, probably an insurmountable goal lead at this point, unfortunately, and the heads are starting to drop for Central Penn. But they'll keep fighting. They'll keep working.
You just don't see the losing team have a player that has a hat trick in a game. It's pretty wild that that both teams defensively aren't strong enough to hold leads and allow that many goals on either side.
Well, we got our money's worth. The admission might have been inexpensive, but I'll tell you what, we got our money's worth out of the performance today. We got more than our share of goals. I believe we have 10 goals at this point. Todd Berry just went down really hard for Central Penn. I hope he's okay because he's been having some hip issues. I know Todd is a student, and an excellent student as well as an excellent athlete. He's up and he's moving again. But he has had some hip alignment issues, so I'm glad to see he's okay. He went down really hard on that. Here's Kyle Vargas, deep left for Central Penn.
Feet. Come on, Caleb. Take it, Caleb. Sorry, Caleb. Kick it, Caleb. Come on.
That's
a bad call. Rap, that's a bad call.
That is a terrible goal.
Unfortunate call for Central Penn.
He obviously pushed him out of the way.
That's the least of the problems with a 3-goal deficit.
He can't make that goal.
What do you mean he can't make that call?
Can he make that goal?
Yeah, that's his call, but...
Ball played deep into the Central Penn end. Max Thorpe handles it handily. And Central Penn will be coming the other way.
He called it that way.
Thorpe prepared to punt the ball. Ball for Sophion is handled by their defense. Unfortunately for him, it's 1v5 up there. He's by himself. And Penn State's in a conservative distance. At this point, their posture is basically what's called parking the bus. Penn State has parked their defense in front of their goal, and they're not going to leave that area. So anytime Central Penn goes down the field looking to try to score a goal, there's going to be 4 or 5 people back there because they're not going to push their offense forward when they have a 3-goal lead. That wouldn't be responsible. So Penn State takes an errant shot, goes wide over the goal. Chopicki from Manhattan, New York, a freshman midfielder, hits the ball up high over the goal. You can see, Zach, there's a lot of depth on this team. This is basically their second string, and they're still able to move the ball around.
Yeah, absolutely. There's not much of a difference between first and the second wave of guys.
There's a ball deep from Miller. Really nice ball for Sophion. Takes a shot hard and gets a corner off of it. Good job by Central Penn. That's 2 passes, about 80 yards and in about 4 seconds. And next thing you know, Central Penn has an opportunity to score. Corner.
Ref, what?
Hit the goalie's hand.
They hit the goalkeeper's hand.
What?
That has to be a corner kick.
He's not blind.
That one. He was already past the line.
So the goalkeeper was over the end line when he touched the ball, apparently. So no corner kick for Central Penn. Goal kick. Penn still working hard in the midfield. Vargas, the Solis, the Kreitz. Good opportunity into the middle for Sophion. And Sophion gets a goal. There's another goal for Central Penn. 2 goal deficit. Sometimes you're better lucky than good, huh, Zach?
Absolutely, and I'd rather be lucky than good. How about it?
We'll take it. That's an effort goal.
8-6.
Central Penn will keep pursuing them. Now they have their spirits lifted by that goal. They're down 2, and we know there's not a lot of time left, so we're going to need to work quite hard at this point. So it's 8-6. That brings Central Penn up to 6 goals in this game. And I'll tell you what, I agree with you. On one hand, it can be deflating to score 6 goals and lose, but on another hand, after going 3 games with 1 goal, to score 4 in the last game and 6 in this game, I think Dustin Wise has to know that his team is coming around and developing the ability to score goals. Now it just has to put it all together next game. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. They need to be able to be strong defensively, and realistically they only should put 2-3 goals on a team and sit back and hold the lead. But here scoring is not not forgotten. That's for sure.
Well, it's an 8-6 score. Not a lot of time left, and it's up to Central Penn now to take this free kick, put a quality ball in the area. Todd Berry's going to take the kick. Trenton Bradley got banged pretty hard on the neck on that play, and he's trying to rub it off and walk it off and get himself back straight in the game. He went down really hard. So here comes the ball from Berry into the area to Sophion. Headed up high by Penn State and cleared, but Sophion ends up with it on his foot. And he is one dangerous player, so there's always opportunity.
Yeah, he's definitely a promising player, and this is only his 2nd game for the Knights, and he has 4 more years left, or 3 more years left after this one.
Sure does. And Zach, let me ask you this: are there any other secrets on the bench that Coach Wise hasn't used yet that are coming back from injuries, or any other players coming in for fall that you know about that will be another boost to this team? Because these 2 have made a big difference.
We do have a couple players coming in for fall. The one is his name is Lewis. He's about 6'5", basketball player, but has experience playing soccer, so that'll definitely help out on corner kicks and balls in the air for sure.
Yeah. 6'5" is fairly tall in basketball, but in soccer, that's a redwood.
Absolutely.
Most soccer players are 5'8", 5'10". You don't have a lot of 6'2", and to think you have a 6'5" player out there. And I remember 2 years ago when Central Penn had a couple of basketball players that were really tall, Joel Zola and Stevo and those guys. They were scoring goals off those headers on those corner kicks, so that's a definite weapon that will make a difference for Coach Dustin Wise.
Absolutely.
And we're only talking a couple weeks. Fall semester is 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, and 2 weeks. That's when the full squad for this year will be here. But the 2 players we were waiting on is Sophion and Derek Pine, number 21. Both of them we were trying to get them in a little early to be available for us as early as possible.
Kick it in there, kick it in there. Kick it. Oh. Feet.
So Central Penn has the ball again. Sophion's on it, and there's Phillips at the top of the area. He plays the ball back to Bolton.
Kick it in there, come on.
Penn's still looking for that opportunity. Unfortunately, there's a turnover off of it.
Oh.
Really bad hockey that you.
This player for Penn State is a fine young player, number 10. Real nice young player, and Bolton wins the ball with him, brings it out of the back. One time to Sept, goes back to Bolton.
Good goal.
Right side, and Vargas is in on side with an opportunity. He's trying to get the ball with all his might to get it to Sophion, and he's unable to do so.
Yeah, number 12, Kyle Vargas, was a little bit offsides. The play would have been is just let Sufjan run onto that. I could see it from here. He was offsides. I don't know what the fans are talking about here.
So offsides against Central Penn, and here comes a ball deep into their end. Again, offsides flag is up. Center ref now sees it, and they finally called the offside.
Just like the same way it was down there, number 10.
That offside.
That was offsides as well. The refs got it right here.
Yep, yes, they did. And they usually do. They almost always have a better angle than we do. And to complain about it.
Kick it, Caleb! Kick it, Caleb! Come on!
Oh, here it heads up.
Heads up!
Come on, dude.
Ball keeps it up. 10. Oh. Looking for a long ball deep in the goal area.
Central Penn's getting desperate here.
Yeah. So expand on that, Zach. What tells you that?
They're trying to shoot from just about anywhere. They need to create a couple quality chances. They still have time, and that's more worth their while than just shooting from probably the most unintelligent spots on the field.
I hear you. So while that's being said, Ted Price isn't quite able to get that ball in front of the goal. It goes off the end line, and it's a goal kick coming out for Penn State Beaver. So here comes the Nittany Lions. Ball just bouncing back and forth from end to end.
There you go.
There's the opportunity to Sophion. Rebounds to the keeper, and unfortunately, there's nothing that can be done for Central Penn. There was an opportunity there, we just could not capitalize on it.
Good stop.
And this is getting to the point in the game where you must capitalize on every single
Don't fight his
opportunity.
leg.
The fans here at Adams Ricky Park are getting very rowdy.
It was in the box. It was in the box.
Passionate soccer folks down here.
Everything's a card, and
Absolutely. Every one of us knows more than any of us.
absolutely.
You gotta get a better turn on that.
Well, that's just part of the game for us and for the rest. Everybody knows it. So it's a job right now of Central Penn to just keep fighting and keep working. And there's
You got to give him credit for that one. That was a shot right there.
That was a hit.
I thought it was gonna hit
And
the
what tells you that
crossbar
was a hit? No movement of the ball. It was a knuckleball like Phil Necro threw it back in the old days of Major League Baseball. That ball spun 0, and it probably went 40 yards, and it was moving just over the top bar. It was a great hit. I mean, you can't hit a ball more perfectly.
It was goal bound. That's what I see.
Yep, that was a great shot. He's just a little closer. That's in. It's on frame. But unfortunately, that one went over. Boy, I'll tell you what, Coach Wise has a weapon with Sophion. He's a really, really dynamic and talented player. That's just number 10 for Penn State, Kazmierek. He's really, really a solid player. To be bringing a player of that talent off your bench is really incredible. He is very, very gifted. obviously an Eastern European player, and rock solid.
There we go.
Come on, come on, come on.
Run upfield.
Sometimes when you're playing a Penn State campus, you have to remember, Zach, that the Penn State main campus recruits their soccer players with scholarships. And if a player wants to come in and play soccer for Penn State and they can't get into that scholarship-laden program at the main campus, they can go to a branch and try to prove themselves and get seen by the head coach at Penn State and get themselves an opportunity where they can get an opportunity to play in the Division I program.
Absolutely. There's always someone watching, and you might not know who that is.
And there's the end of the match. So, from Adams Rickey Park in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, on a beautiful, beautiful Wednesday afternoon, the Central Penn Knights fall today 8-6 to the Penn State Beaver campus, and you have to give the Beaver campus a lot of credit. When Central Penn made mistakes, the Beaver campus, the Penn State Nittany Lions, they capitalized on those mistakes and they put them away. They scored 3 goals in 4 minutes at one point in this match, and that was the difference in this game. And all off of mistakes out of the back by Central Penn, errant passes and so forth, just some bad judgment, and that happens, and then you have to learn from it and you have to grow from it. Zach, what would be on your mind if you were coaching the Knights looking forward to their next match?
Being stronger defensively, definitely. Maybe some more work in goal with Max. A couple of those I feel like he could have saved, but it doesn't fault Max. He had a great game today. Just got unlucky a few times, and defensively they just need to be stronger in the back. Know their roles.
Well, on behalf of my partner Zach Morrill and producer Professor Paul Miller and the entire Central Penn Knights Media Club, this is Doug Fisher signing off from Adams Rickey Park in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. And we thank you for listening to our broadcast today, and we look forward to having you join us again for future broadcasts of soccer and other sports at Central Penn College.